No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I come to you hat in hand. Hat is in the hand. Welcome to the Perfect Play Pursuit, everybody. We're coming off the heels of John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, UFC 309. A lot of right, but just not enough. There was some wrong in there, and as you can say, Luke fell. I fell. I've fallen. I stumbled, but I will be back. I'm very confident going into this week. UFC Macau. I will put it forward. I will pay it out. I will arise at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right. This UFC card starts at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will arise. I will participate. And we'll get into UFC Macau in just a second here. We're going to touch on last weekend. I know it feels like a month ago by now. It's Wednesday. We're coming here a little bit late. Alex had a big night at a hockey game. So we're a couple days late on this, couple days late, but we're here for you. Dan, how was your weekend? You're the biggest loser so far. And not wait. Talking.
Nope, not wait. Although I have gone back onto the grind as far as that's concerned. And listen, I had a great weekend. It was very low key. One of the few weekends that me and the old lady were going around the country traveling, so it was good to just be home and be steady and all that. Did we win money? No, we didn't win money, but I'm still filled with hope. I'm still filled with optimism, and I'm still having a good time with it. And that's all I can say on the matter of that. And, the hope actually comes into this coming weekend. Will I be up at 3 o'clock in the morning? No, I won't. I'll probably be up at 6. And that'll be a good motivator to get up early and get the day started. But I was telling the fellas here off broadcast, got a nice little 17-legger. Okay, we're talking $75 for 60 grand, which after taxes would be like perfect. Like I'd be so set with that. Like I could turn that into $1 million if I wanted to. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm hopeful for, and I'm just looking forward to break down this card as well. Talk to you guys.
You sound like Michael Chandler on Bussin' with the Boys. First of all, brother, my heart is full, brother. My heart is full. Nah,
Michael Chandler, you sound more like Jelly Roll.
They're all the same guy. They're all Tennessee bumpkin idiots. You can't trust them as far as you can throw them. And you can't throw Michael Chandler very far. He is dense, very dense.
And he would grab hold of that cage if you tried to throw him.
Oh, he would grab that cage, brother. He'd elbow you in the back of the head. You wouldn't even know what hit you.
We'll get into that. I definitely want to talk about that.
Big time cheater, Michael Chandler.
Yeah, and if you saw his interview with Errol Hawani, it sounds like in more ways than one. But we will discuss that fight. We will get to it. Like I said, a lot of good, a lot of not so good came out of the weekend of betting. I'll be honest with you guys. I had received a lot of money before the earned, not one, earned. I earned a lot of money, and I was, placing a lot of bets. I was really optimistic going into UFC 309. I was like, I'm coming away 5 to 10 grand on top of my previous winnings. I was up, 60, 70 units last week, and I was really confident that I was going to compound that and really be in a great spot. So where it all went wrong for me, wrong. It went, I picked Veronica Hardy on the show. We truly certified her. But as that fight drew more near, I was kind of like, Mora could probably win. I picked Hafez on the show, but as that fight drew more near, I was like, Elliott was really impressive last time. He could probably win. I picked Brahim.
I called that fight perfectly. I said, I'm going with Hafez out of loyalty, but this is a really tough matchup for him on the feet. I said that. Yeah. I told you. Oban Elliott's a tough guy to get down.
I picked Brahimaj on this show. And then as that fight drew more near, I started to convince myself I was wrong there. So the first three, it was a lot of like indecision back and forth. I picked Deniz on this show, and he was somebody who I was very confident that
oh my gosh, garbage.
exactly what everybody said would play out, played out in the sense that if Tybura could get him to the ground, he would not get back up and he would get dominated. That much was probably true. I just didn't think that was going to happen. And I heard round one, he dropped Tybura. I stepped out of the room for a split second. I missed watching it, but I came in on this at the later half of the second round when he's on his back getting pummeled. And I kind of knew that New York City crab in a bucket doctor was going to strike again. Me and Alex were there live for Nate Diaz versus George Masvidal. They stopped it. New York's a bunch of pussies. Their commission is weak, possibly this first or second weakest in the entire United States of America, last to legalize. Their doctors are crabs in the bucket. So yeah, lost with him, but then still had some going, but they had Jackson on it, right? And Damon Jackson, I thought that was one where I was like, okay, I mean, obviously we could all sit here and say Jim Miller, he's going to guillotine him, he's going to submit him in the first round, he's going to have that great Jim Miller classic first round. But you know me, guys, my style is just like kill your darlings. Do not ride with the what you think's going to happen based on your heart for a guy like Jim Miller, who's obviously a fan favorite. I just was like, he's getting older. He was the red beard at one point in time. Red Beard Miller is what they called him. His beard is now gray, like everybody. So he had Lyme's disease. You know what I mean? I was like, he is not going to wear the age well as time goes on. I should have known. Eric Anders. Sorry. Continue. What do you guys think about those first few fights?
So I got completely sunk on the Mickey Gall fight. If you look at my my bet sheet, which you could do at the Patreon, is that up and running now? We're good to go?
No, it's not.
Okay, never mind. Don't check it out then.
Well, I mean, if you paid for the Patreon at one point and
right.
You have the link is the same, so you can still access the sheet if you were a Patreon member. But right. I will sit down this weekend. I will go through the red tape with Patreon. I will get it back up and running.
All right. It's going to wake up at 3 a.m., watch the fights, simultaneously get the Patreon going. It's going to be awesome.
I'll try my best.
He'll try his best.
I will sit down at this desk with my laptop. I will have my ID. I will have the emails from Patreon. I will figure out what's going wrong, and I will get it back up and running so that we can make sure that, we have that for everybody. So, yeah.
Promises made, promises kept. We're gonna.
Oh, well, the promise is that he will try to do it. The promise isn't that he will do it. The promise is that he will try to do it. And
a lot of the reason
if he faces any roadblocks whatsoever, he's going to not.
Put a stick in Mickey Gall for a second. A lot of the reason I've been dragging my feet with the Patreon is because I've been trying to think, should we even relaunch the Patreon, or should we go through YouTube and make it so that you can be a member on the YouTube channel directly, so that people don't have to go to another, some people don't have a Patreon account, right? So it's like, maybe if I just make it so that there's a membership to join the YouTube as a member, then you get the link to the open bet sheet. I just haven't dug into all that and figured out how all that works. But I would like to, and we can talk about this live and kind of debate this out in front of our audience here. I would like to do the show live. I would like this show to not be pre-recorded like it is now, how we're doing it right now. I would like it to just be every week at the same time we go live and folks can watch live along with us. And then maybe in the future we go live for some of these fights, like 3 a.m. What do I got to fucking do? I would love to go live this weekend, 3 a.m. Only issue is it's 3 a.m. I'll be very sleepy. And I will, it's a card in Macau, China. I'm going to be mispronouncing these guys' names. Everybody knows, Kyle, Dan, you were at my wedding. My best friend Kyle is Asian. I have Asian friends. I have a lot of Asian friends that were at my wedding. I have family. I have best friends, groomsmen. And, if I mispronounce some of these names, I don't want people to take it. I know we're in Trump's America now, but I don't want cancel culture to come for me and be like, he called this guy the wrong name. He doesn't know anything about Chinese culture. I know a lot about Chinese culture, guys. So I just want to make that clear. If I come on this show at 3 a.m, I don't want you clipping it and making fun of me.
That's fine. Okay. I think the audience can abide by that.
Well, continue. So what were we saying? So yeah, that's
okay, yeah. So I've rested pretty much everything on the over for the first lady fight, easy money. The second fight was Oban Elliott. Had a lot of faith in him. He got it done. And then it was Mickey Gall and whoever the top prelim was. I forget what that fight. But that was like my safety. Like I would come out profitable no matter what.
McGee.
McGee, yeah. Had McGee. So Mickey Gall totally sunk my battleship. I had almost all my eggs in him. And then the last couple just didn't play out. But Shame on me. Shame on me. I just thought, whatever his face is, submission guy, first round submission guy. You're not going to first round submit Mickey Gall. Forgot about the power in the hands, but I don't know, man. Tough loss on my part. Stupid at the end of the day. Got greedy.
So after that, Eric Anders was scheduled to fight. Did not fight. We were supposed to have him on the show. Maybe if I had him on the show, I really thought about DMing him because me and him DM back and forth. I thought about DMing him and saying, Eric, this is a fight that they think you are going to lose. They want to give Chris Weidman a send-off at Madison Square Garden. They want it to be a quinceañera Sweet 16 birthday party for Chris Weidman, a retirement party. And they think you're the guy to do that on, and you need to go out there and show them that you are not the one. You're not abusing drugs anymore. You need to stomp a mud hole in Chris Weidman's ass, Alabama style. But he didn't even make it to the fight. So hopefully we can ask him some questions about that. You know,
it is rescheduled. Did you see that? It's for the next paper.
He got food poisoning.
December 7th.
And you know who else did? Chael Sonnen said he got food poisoning. He said it on the DC and Chael's show. He told DC, and DC said, you know, that, yeah, he knows because he was eating at this specific restaurant. But here's what I noticed about Chael. I'm watching the opening card, the beginning, before the fights had even started, right? And I see something that really shocked me to my core. So if you guys want to clip this could be, you know, maybe an exposed style video. I don't know. You guys know. I mean, I'm a student of the Church of Uncle Chael. I'm somebody who, you know, I'm at the ready. I'm a soldier for Uncle Chael. Okay. If he called me, pulled my draft card, I'm showing up wherever I'm needed. But I want to share with our audience a little something here. Let me see if I can share this without completely exposing myself. Okay, let's see. So this was what I saw. I saw Chael Sonnen. He's talking, right? He's a talker. He talks a lot. He talks a mile a minute. But I noticed something as he's talking, a discoloration of sorts. And I took a screenshot, and this is what I saw, right? Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, a bit of a troll.
I saw something. I'm like, is that food in his teeth? What is this? And then I paused it, and this is what I was able to capture.
Ew.
I mean, what is
Ew.
and listen, and then, you know, look at these. So then, you know, moments later, I'm trying to zoom in here. Moments later, he's talking, and it's like, Chael, you talk way too much to be getting away with this sort of business, right? Look at this. So I'm noticing this on the broadcast, and I'm like, does he have chewing tobacco in his mouth? In the day and age of Zins, we got a guy doing wacky tobacco, or not wacky tobacco, but just regular old tobacco. So I see this, and someone else must have saw it. I'll tell you that much. Someone else must have saw it, because moments later, you know, this is what you're seeing, right? And then moments later, it comes out looking like this. Hold on. I'm having some trouble here. Look, so but now it's
that's big time difference.
Big time difference, right? That was moments later. So I think that headset he had on, I think there's a strong possibility that there was somebody communicating to him through that headset. I don't think it's just there, guys, to muffle the noise of the roaring crowd in Madison Square Garden. I think that he was
Of course not. They've got a producer talking to them. You've seen.
I think someone was communicating to him through that headset. And I think, I know it sounds crazy. Voices in your head. It sounds crazy. But I think someone told him, spit that out. What are you doing? You know, like, this is not professional, right? And it blew me away, because as someone who, you know, you guys know me. We started the show 5 years ago. We've never missed a week. If I'm in Hawaii for 2 months, I showed up every week. If I'm in Florida, if I'm in Vermont, no matter where I am on this beautiful country, Costa Rica. When I was in Costa Rica, I was there watching the UFC and betting on the UFC and doing everything where there's a will, there's a way. I show up for the show, I watch the fights, and I gamble on them every week. That is what I do. If I like something, I like to do it frequently. If I like something, I like to do it every day. I'm a creature of habit, right? Addictive personality. And I just think Chael Sonnen, I've heard him talk many times about how he does not drink. He's from the great state of Oregon, where marijuana is plentiful and legal. And he says he does not use marijuana. He does not drink. He says he's only about performance enhancers. But I read David Allen Carr's The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. And I know that nicotine and especially in the form of fucking, that nasty brown stuff is not, no matter what Huberman and his lab say, no matter what Tucker Carlson says, Zin is a sin, and tobacco and nicotine is addictive, and addicting yourself to nicotine is like walking around with a rock in your shoe just for the purpose of the relief of taking the shoe off later in the day. It is a horrible, dirty habit. It's a monkey on your back. It's more addicting than any of the hard stuff. It's more addicting, and than alcohol. More addicting than you go out, you have several drinks on a Saturday night. You don't necessarily want to drink Sunday morning. You might not want to drink again for a week. But you put one of those bad boys in your lips, the second you spit it out, the addiction starts, and you got that monkey on your back, and it's like, do more, you need, and then you start being irritable with friends, family, and loved ones. You start to make poor decisions, feel less confident without it. So I would like to see if that was chewing tobacco, and if that was nicotine, and not, perhaps it was just sunflower seeds, like a baseball player. But I know Chael's not a baseball player. I know Chael's a wrestler. And wrestlers, they sometimes, to cut weight, they like to be able to spit into a cup. And so what helps you spit more than Zin or tobacco or whatever is you salivate, right? So I just want to say,
maybe he had a penny in there. Another old wrestling trick.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, Alex knew that. The true grappler of the show.
Listen,
I had no idea. You're the wizard. Apparently, I've never heard of that one in my life.
Any coin will do, actually, even the silver dollar.
But that's such a choking hazard. One time when I was a kid, I swallowed a quarter. I pooped out 5 nickels. So, if we did expose Chael, if Chael is a utilizer of nicotine products, I would like to see him make a effort to read David Allen Carr's book, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. I know it's not smoking, but it's still the same base chemical. Apply the smoking to the nicotine and realize that a man who's not addicted to nicotine is performing at higher levels than somebody with that monkey on their back. And I would just like to say, you're a role model. You're an inspiration. You're my role model. You are a role model to me. And just like so many others who have fallen to this terrible, terrible drug addiction.
You know what I was thinking the whole time I saw that?
When I saw Joe Rogan hitting a vape on his podcast, I was blown away. I mean, I was like, he is the healthiest guy. He does all this carnivore diet and ice baths, and I was like, and he's vaporizing an addictive chemical. I was like, he's Mr. Defeat your inner bitch. And what is more bitchy than seeing somebody go, yeah, let me just get that vape back. Hey, can I give that thing back here? Just seeing somebody itch for something, being succumbed by addiction. I couldn't believe it. I thought, how the mighty have fallen. That's what I had thought. And I just know that Chael's a role model to not just me, a 30-year-old man, but to many young wrestlers, to many young aspiring mixed martial artists. And I know he's the bad guy, but I think that I'd like to see a PSA style apology and a renunciation of addictive drugs. That's
funny because I heard that he's going to be on Greg Gutfeld tonight at 10 o'clock. I literally just saw that before I even came on the show. So I'll check and I'll see if there is a apology rendered.
Guys, clip this up, get this to Chael. And if I'm wrong and it is not what it looked like, then, formal, I didn't say it was, and I don't even exist. And I was not, because I know Chael's to be a very litigious man and he knows the law inside and out. So I just want to be very clear with my words. It looked like something. It could be, it couldn't be, it could be, it couldn't be. But there was a video of him in Australia. See if you can dig this up, guys. He's talking at like a tableside cafe and he's spinning a tin of what appeared to be chewing tobacco at the table. He's kind of just like playing with it a little bit. You could barely see it. You wouldn't even know to look for it. But I go, was that his camera guys that he just happened to be just fiddling with? Or is it that I'm in Australia, got the wife off my back for a week? And was that the moment? Was that the moment that old habits did not die hard? I do not know.
He's real comfortable with the tins. He's like a magician playing with a quarter in his fingers. He's very, very comfortable in that arena.
I just hope it was Rogue nicotine pouches, daddy.
It didn't look. That's my thing. It didn't look like a pouch. It didn't. It looked like I don't know. And
I can see the line. That's definitely a pouch.
Where
I
do you
can see
think
the
he,
line on it?
Because clearly something was in his mouth and then it was out of his mouth, from what it looks like, right?
It was certainly something. It could be those.
I love the balls on my mouth.
I love how long after he looks.
Well, and my thing is,
he also has those coffee grind things on his. If you watch,
I know, and that would. And if I were him, I would come out and say that's what it was. But that would be, something that what people who are addicted to drugs do. They lie. They lie and cover their tracks a lot. So that would be something that I would anticipate. I would assume that was what it was. But
what does a bad guy do?
Listen. I don't know. I'm just saying that I just it's like when your mom finds pot in your sock drawer. I thought it was oregano. You know what I mean? It's like that. So I would expect some explanation. But I don't know. I mean, we might need to have Mrs. Sonnen on the show to do a deep dive analysis and see if he'll lie right to her face too. I don't know. I don't know if he would lie to her. You know what I mean? But and by Mrs. Sonnen, I mean his mother. So what I mean is, you mentioned Rogue nicotine. I don't care if it's Zyn. I don't care if it's Rogue. I don't care if it's
any of size.
1 second, I got to go up here.
All right, what did you think of the Bo Nickal performance?
Ooh, that was rough to watch. Seemed like his strikes were pretty transparent. You could see that big overhand left coming, and whatever he set it up with, if anything. And I think Paul Craig looked great. How about that? How about we give a little credit to Paul Craig? He looked lean. He looked light on his feet. He was in and out. He looked great. So don't take credit away from the guy that, I mean, did anyone score it for him possibly? He must have gotten at least one round out of that. The leg kicks, they were at
excuse me.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think they gave him one. I think it was 30-27.
Damn. Well, whatever.
I thought he did pretty well. And he looks big at middleweight.
Yeah. Certainly not a plus 600 or whatever he was underdog. So, yeah, I like the overrated chant. Did you hear that? Did you watch with volume?
Couldn't watch with volume. I was out and about, sadly, so didn't catch any commentary except for the main event. Maybe, and maybe I caught some for the main event, but I can't recall. What I did not love was Andre Petrosky calling him out like he's sniffing the top 10 at all. Like, get the hell out of here. I'm not a fan of Petrosky anymore. Like, absolutely Delulu if you think that you should be fighting Bo Nickal after just because he didn't look good against Paul Craig.
I wouldn't hate that. I definitely don't want to give Bo Nickal like a good fight.
I mean, he's got to go up, wouldn't you say?
No, not after that performance. I don't think he has to go up at all. I think his striking looked really bad as far as like fighting at that end of the division. And did he even like get any takedowns? Maybe my memory's a little foggy here, I guess. But I mean, they were screaming overrated. And I was just thinking, Trump, he's got the Trump's favorite fighter thing going on. Trump's like, I've never met this guy.
Yeah, he was acting like he was Tony Hinchcliffe. He was acting like Bo Nickal was Tony Hinchcliffe after that performance.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him fighting Petrosky. I think that's right in the sweet spot.
You're crazy. I think Petrosky, like, there's 15 other guys who deserve that fight before Petrosky, like Brian Battle and others.
Yeah, how about this?
Like Amavov.
Mavov would destroy him.
No.
He should play the heel. He should play the Kurt Angle, where it's like going in, you think he's going to be, Captain America and win all these big fights for America. And, he didn't fight in the Olympics or wrestle in the Olympics or whatever, but, he's in that like world of fighting. So he's going to be the man, but just completely turn heel. And I think that would be amazing. People already got the overrated chant. That could switch over to a you suck real quick. So I think that should be his model. Don't try to be like he's annoying.
Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan when he went.
Yeah, how about that?
When he went Canada, he joined Team Canada.
Right. That'd be great.
Well, listen,
he's not likable at all. He's like, I hate him.
It's not that, Dan. I've said this.
You love people who went to Penn State. You love Penn State. You're a big Penn State football guy. Why don't you like the wrestlers?
That's not about being a wrestler or not. I don't like his personality. He seems annoying to me.
Bunch of criminals over there, more like state.
Who was that? Who was that assistant coach you loved? You used to love an assistant coach who was there.
Well, listen. The thing about Bo Nickal that nobody realizes they hate about him, he is entirely unrelatable. He's one of those kids. If we knew him elementary school or high school, he is one of those count my trophies kind of kid. You want to go count my trophies? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're hanging out at his house. He just wants to talk about the wrestling tournament he won last week. He wants to wrestle you. He's all about winning and being dedicated. And none of us were like that as kids, right? I mean, we all had hobbies and interests, but we like to have fun too,
Yeah, no, I think you're pretty spot on there. I like your analysis of that. Because I could see him being like, hey, before we go to the pool, because my hot mom's got an awesome pool, let's count my trophies. And then he brings you into the garage or whatever it is. Like, man, I just want to go to that pool. It's hot. Like, it's hot in this garage. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yep. Big time, like, winner kid. You know what I mean? And
flaky hair.
Those adults are cool as hell, but those kids are annoying as hell when you're another kid, like, in the same environment.
Another guy like that, Sage Northcutt, with all of his karate.
I'll bet. I don't know it. I don't know this to be a fact at all, but I'll bet there was a time in Bo Nickal's young child life where he faced a little adversity on the wrestling mat where he lost. I'll bet he cried, and I'll bet he threw his headgear across the room. I'll bet he was not a good sport when he lost.
I can see that.
He reminds me of somebody that I went to high school with, that I wrestled with.
You show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser.
That's fair, but there's a difference between being a good loser and being a crybaby. My mother told me like that's like making them like win more. Like, not only did I beat you, but I made you cry. You couldn't even control yourself, your emotions.
Very Sun Tzu.
Like, I beat you, and then afterwards you cried. You know what I mean? It's like when I pinned our friend on the beach, and afterwards he's blowing the sand all out of his mouth. I'm like, dude, you just made my victory so much better because not only did I pin you, but like you were covered in sand.
Eat the sand? He's gotta get it out.
He's got to get up first, wash it off in the water, not like
get up, wipe it off.
Gotta hold it in there.
Not go.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It was a pretty terrible dismount.
Yes. So, I forget what my point was here, but my thing with Bo is that he said in the press conference, maybe I'll submit Paul Craig. Didn't even try to take him down. Chael Sonnen, our guy, had a video where he said, I'm mad at Bo Nickal because whoever got in his ear and told him, hey, Paul Craig's biggest strength is on the ground and you don't want to go there with him. That's some bitch-ass shit is basically what Chael said. He said, F, at the end of the video, he said, F what you're good at. And like a true, and someone else, Lucas Tracy, MMA, had a good video about this. He broke down the Ariel Helwani interview with Bo Nickal, where Bo's like essentially saying, everybody who criticized my fight doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay, Chael Sonnen, DC, Joe Rogan, they don't know what they're talking about, right? So he was saying that, I'm trying to think. He was like,
but Luke, it's not like other guys just take Paul Craig down and butt fuck him like, Brendan Allen. It's not like other guys like Brendan Allen could just do that.
Or Johnny Walker playing the bongo drums on his head. Here's the thing. What Lucas Tracy was saying was like, could you picture Islam Makhachev being like, oh, Charles Oliveira, he's really good on the ground. No, Islam's like a lot. I mean, he had respect for Charles' grappling, but a lot of the guys Islam faced, he's like, Dustin Poirier has a black belt. Okay. all these guys are like some of the Islam is quoted. He says he's like a lot of these black belts, they need to have their black belt removed from them. You know, Hamzat Chimaev, he said to Gerald Mershark, so if I'm a purple belt, so if I'm a blue belt, I'm a purple belt. If I submit you, do I get your black belt? You know, that's the shit you talk and you back it up. You go in there and you finish. You know, that's the difference between a guy like Hamzat and a guy like who goes in there and does the job. A guy like Joe Pyfer who does the job on a GM3 versus a guy like Andre Petrosky, a guy like Bo Nickal. You know. But
do you think Andre Petrosky is a good fight for Bo Nickal? I think that's absolutely delulu. Dan thinks Bo Nickal deserves to go all the way back down to Andre Petrosky now.
Absolutely. He stinks. Did you not see him?
I mean, I thought his fighting performance was shit. He didn't show shit. First of all, like he didn't like completely dominate Paul Craig. Paul Craig went back to his corner. He's like, I'm having fun. He's a wily old vet. He doesn't even care about winning. You know what I mean? He was just happy to be a Scotsman in a fight. But what Bo Nickal did, technically, he threw an overhand right. He spammed an overhand right. I saw a guy with an overhand right. That's what I saw. Who was afraid to go to the ground with Paul Craig. That's what I saw. I didn't see head kicks. I didn't see question mark kicks. I didn't see a check left hook. I didn't see a Marcio Ruffy look away fucking check left hook.
But do you think that takes you all the way back down to like a Jacob Malkoon hip to the head knockout guy? Like, come on, what are we talking about here? It's Paul Craig. He just beat freaking Andre Muniz.
I say, you want to see a good fight, or do you want to see a easy fight? I say you give Bo Nickal Joe Pyfer.
Oh shit, he would kill him.
Who?
Joe Pyfer would kill Bo Nickal.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good fight.
I think you'd be surprised.
I think he'd be trying to take Joe down. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to see.
He's not gonna let him take him down.
You know,
that nice and polished.
I don't want to see Andre Petrosky and Bo Nickal have a shit striking match, or Andre Petrosky gets smothered by Bo Nickal.
And it's like, look at other examples of really good wrestlers striking in MMA. Chris Weidman knocked Anderson Silva the fuck out. Okay, Johnny Hendricks almost killed George St. Pierre. Who's another example? I mean, Dan Henderson fucking almost killed Michael Bisping. Like DC knocked out Stipe Miocic. So if you're gonna do the whole, I'm gonna Chuck Liddell this thing, then go out there and fucking Chuck Liddell him. Those overhand rights. Chuck Liddell was in the audience. He wasn't fucking impressed with those overhand rights. Nah, he was. I mean, Chuck Liddell. Those weren't no Chuck Liddell overhand rights. That's all I'll say. And that was an opponent that you should have, if you were gonna strike with him for 3 rounds, should have knocked his ass out.
Agreed.
And Trump, he was like, "Are you okay?" After the fight, he was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, the crowd, you know, he's talking to Trump, and Elon was sitting there like, "Crowd's booing you, bro." Trump's a populist. He doesn't like seeing guys that he likes get booed. He walked out when Colby Covington was getting booed. He's like, I'm not going to support losers. I want to support winners. So, yeah, really making a lot of enemies in the wrestling world today. This is great.
And next up, you got another guy who would probably want to count his trophies, Michael Chandler.
Did you guys talk about that Marcio Ruffy fight, though? Because what I'll say is this. They were giving his opponent way too much credit. I mean, listen, Lion Top, respect, whatever. He missed the weight, missed the catch weight. DC, thank God for DC. They were like, John Anik. Like, oh, he's really earning favor with the UFC brass for this performance. And DC goes, he missed weight by 17 pounds. That was one of my favorite. Shout out to DC. Best commentator in the game.
Keeps it real.
Calling out his friend Michael Chandler for the illegalness of his whole fight. Calling out John Anik. DC is becoming...
He says it on his podcast all the time. He loves to get messy. And that's why when he had Tom Aspinall on the weigh-in show, he was like, Tom, what's going on? Give me the dish. Why weren't you at the press conference? What's happening?
You know what's messy? The truth. The truth is messy. That's what messy really means. It means, oh, I'm saying the thing I'm not supposed to say, the thing that's in front of everybody's fucking eyes, but we're all pretending it's not. You know what I mean? That's the messiest thing you could do. So I thought Marcio Ruffy, cool. He's becoming one of my favorite fighters, dude, because if you know anything about his backstory, this guy was a bodyguard for Brazilian billionaires. And the Brazilian billionaire used to make him fight other Brazilian billionaires' bodyguards in underground fucking fights.
That's amazing. I mean, sort of, I guess. He was getting paid then?
I'm sure.
It's like Django Unchained.
I think that's why he was such a giant favorite. Because all these Brazilian billionaires were probably like, I know this fucking guy. I'm going to put $10 million on him. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
Move the line, you know? Because who the fuck else knows who he is? You know what I mean? We knew who he was, but it's like, who else is like, he's that much better than James Lintop, who's never been knocked out. Let's move the line this much. That's crazy, you know? I mean, but no, Lintop took a fucking hell of a beating, but I don't think, I mean, is Chris Montigno still in the UFC after fucking Sugar Sean did what he did to him? No, he's not. So it's not like, oh, Lintop, he's got a future. It's like, no, he's got no future. He just can take a fucking beating, you know?
There was somebody else who just had a very similar circumstance who I bet on and then did absolutely horrendous in their next fight.
And it's not like he took a beating and didn't get knocked down. He got knocked down several times in that fight. He got his shit all busted up. You know, it's not like Calvin Kattar, who's like never been knocked down, takes a beating, but has not been knocked down. Max Holloway might take a beating, Dustin Poirier fight you, but doesn't get knocked down, you know? So Lintop is he's just young and inflated overweight, so he can take a lot of those punches without going out cold, you know? But what do we got? What got here? Sorry about that. I didn't mean to derail it a little bit.
Michael Chandler. His heart's full, guys. Don't worry. His heart is full, brother.
I thought that was pathetic. That was a Weidman style post-fight interview. You know, you do all that cheating and then you fucking want to give that inspirational fucking professional wrestling speech afterwards. Like when Weidman hit him with the 1-2 eye poke and then hops on top of the cage and celebrating and shit. It's like, you didn't do nothing, Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, you got taken down in every single fucking round by a Brazilian kid who was playing soccer while you were doing wrestling practice every day of your fucking life. You got dragged to the mat by a kid who's never sniffed a pair of wrestling boots, and you grabbed the cage every time and still got taken down. What more do you need? A fucking third leg? What more do you need to stop Charles Oliveira from taking your ass down? When you're talking about Islam. Talking about Islam. Yeah. Islam would fucking throw your little mini Mike ass out of the fucking cage.
Little mini Mike.
And McGregor would look at McGregor's fight with Khabib. He won rounds with Khabib. He stopped takedowns. He neutralized Khabib in certain moments of Khabib having him on the ground. Took Khabib till round 4 to submit his ass. Didn't take Khabib that long for Justin Gaethje. Didn't take Khabib that long for fucking other opponents that he's faced. You know what I mean? So don't get me started on fucking Michael Chandler. McGregor would smoke your ass.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Fucking
a matchup in heaven. That's why after that fight, McGregor gets on Twitter and says, "Cut Mike. Just kidding. Keep him around."
But I mean, he poked him in the eye in round 1. He poked him in the eye in round 5. Every moment of success he had was coming off of a moment of cheating. He poked him in the eye before he dropped him to get the back of the head strikes. Not Lucas Tracy, some other account I watched counted 12 back of the head strikes conservatively.
Was grabbing on the inside of the gloves the whole time while Charles Oliveira was on his back. Every time he was grabbing inside the gloves, Charles Oliveira's like going like this so the ref will look. And then the one infraction that was borderline from Charles Oliveira, where he was trying to make soup with Michael Chandler after he was cheating so much. You know, Michael Chandler threw the biggest fit in the world.
Being a bitching. Yeah. Keith Peterson, shame on Keith Peterson. Shame on him. The only thing that could have made his performance more shameful is if he actually stopped the fight when Chandler in the 5th round was hitting him in the back of the head. That would have been the only thing that could have made it more shameful.
A lot of nonsense going on.
A lot of nonsense going on with Keith Peterson. Looked thin, too. Looked very thin.
You think he's on the Ozempies?
I don't know what he's on. Or what he's off. I don't know. But yeah, that was a shameful display by Michael Chandler in every sense. I don't know why people are like, this man, like with the crying emojis, this man shows up and fights so much for the fans every time, and shut the fuck up.
I want John Anik to get like electrocuted by cattle prod every time he says no nonsense Keith Peterson. I've never seen a ref who lets more nonsense happen. I've never seen somebody with a neck tattoo be able to be called no nonsense. That seems like a lot of fucking nonsense to me, buddy.
I like Dominic Cruz's take on Keith Peterson. Beer drinking, cigarette smoking Keith Peterson. I call him Stinky Keith Peterson. Anik, there's so many times I would like to see Anik. I would like to see Anik placed under arrest, found guilty of a crime, and given the electric chair in a state where that is still going on, if in some cases legally.
Do you see how unhinged he gets on the weigh-in show? It makes me very uncomfortable.
It makes me deeply uncomfortable when you're talking about, the one time he said it to Dominic Cruz, like, Dominic Cruz looking like Mr. fucking Rogers over there. He's like a Tony Hinchcliffe mixed with fucking like.
That's what happens when you get a hungry fucking wolf on the weigh-in show.
Dude, it's like, it's this weird energy from him on these weigh-in shows, and then he comes on there this time. He's like, yeah, that was crazy. It's literally like something from a early 2000s comedy movie where they're like, okay, this is the main character's wacky friend who shows up at the bar and embarrasses him in front of the girl he's trying to win favor for. You know what I mean? It's like
very McBridean.
Not even McBridean. It's more like Will Arnett. I don't know. I don't know. It reminds me of, remember the guy in Hot Rod who's like with the girl that
that's
Hot
Will
Rod,
Arnett.
Yeah. And he goes, he's like, is that Peterson? Oh, I'm gonna give you a punch in the nuts. Hey, Peterson, flaming Dr. Peppers. And he's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
he's like, that's the energy right there. Go watch that scene. Anyway, we can't talk about UFC 309 all night here. John Jones, the greatest of all time. My favorite.
Stipe looked good, man. He was, when he connected with John Jones, it looked like John Jones didn't like it one bit. It's just, John Jones was too dynamic for him.
Too fast, too dynamic, too evasive. That would be the word I would use. If Stipe, he could sprint at him, and John would get out of there like a fucking alley cat getting away from a bucket of water. You know what I mean? Like he
was on his bike, all right. He was on his bike, and as somebody who bet on Stipe because it was the only right thing to do as plus 500 underdog, I had some choice words for Mr. Bones Jones that night, but can't deny the greatness.
It was, for me, visions of sugar plums danced in my head, and those sugar plums were John Jones's fight with Santos, John Jones's fight with Reyes, John Jones's fight with Gon being such a dud. It was a great performance by John, but it was like, will that give John a false assessment of where he is at this age, at this weight class, and will he come in here and be surprised? The most powerful element in the art of war, the element of surprise. And Stipe Miocic, I think, was positioned with the odds and positioned with the unknown factor and positioned with how good of shape he showed up in and the time off from his last knockout. I didn't think.
And we didn't know he talked about John Jones's kids, and neither did Stipe.
and Stipe, I love how when Stipe is doing his press conferences, if he's not hard enough to understand, they had a plate of food in front of him. Like, hey, Stipe, you know what would be helpful? If your mumbling ass could eat a cannoli while we fucking do your press conference. That would be very helpful. So I think there was just, and the Drake curse on John Jones, right? I mean, there was a lot of reasons to give Stipe a look that night, but in hindsight, it was 2020. And it was that, what can I say? Anyway, I don't know.
If anyone's deserving of a minus 700, minus 600 favoritism, it's John Jones. But he's coming in as the dog right now against Tom Aspinall. So,
well, that fight will not happen. So,
Dustin Jacoby.
I pray it doesn't.
All right. Well, with that, folks, that's a lot of entertainment. I hope you watched it, and we're going to move into UFC Macau, Jan versus Figueiredo. 13 fights, a very unlucky number in the country of China. I wonder if they'll add a fight or take one away, because 13 is an unlucky number. They don't even have the 13th floor in an elevator in China. So I don't know how they're getting away with this. But first fight of the night, we're going to break down the prelims, then we're going to break down the main card. And there's a lot that I like about this. I think that the only underdog that really won last weekend was Jim Miller, I think, right?
Yes.
Jim Miller, I mean, Eduardo Mora was a slight dog. Brahimaj was a slight dog.
I think Tybura might have been a favorite. Was he? Or a
He was
dog?
favorite. He was a favorite. Deniz was plus. This was plus. So Mora, Brahimaj, and Miller were the only dogs that were able to win. All very slight.
Who did Romero fight? He looked amazing. Onama. He looked great in the first and second round. Kind of looked like he fell off a little bit, though. Sorry, go on.
So, yeah. So, only 3 underdogs were able to win last weekend. This card screams dog to me. But a lot of the times when that happens, it ends up... I mean, I remember the last time that I thought it was going to be a dog-heavy card. The only underdog that won was Jillian Robertson against somebody that she fought that night. And I think it was like... I forget UFC Canada, maybe. I don't know. No, it wasn't UFC Canada. I forget what card that was, but it was a fight where only one underdog won. It was Jillian Robertson. So we can look into that. But either way, I think I'm seeing a lot of dogs this week, but I'm going to be very choosy, and I'm going to deny myself of some of my feelings in some situations, but in others, I'm going all in, and we'll get to those in a little bit. First, we're going to start with the first fight of the night. First fight of the night is going to be Mahashate versus Nicholas Mota. For me, Nicholas Mota is a guy who I was very low on, right? I've been very low on him at times. The Trey Ogden situation, I thought, I picked Trey Ogden in that fight. I was kind of robbed a little bit of that. And especially coming off that and, getting knocked out the fight before, getting knocked out by Jim Miller, I kind of thought this guy he sucks, right? But the Tom Nolan performance was incredible. I mean, he did such a great job in that fight. And he's training with Jake Shields. And Mahashate, 10-3, his only win, a split decision against Gabe Benitez, besides when they shipped Nifty Steve Garcia over there to get knocked out by him 2.5 years ago. He's a Contender Series boy. This kid is 24 years old with only 13 fights. A lot of those fights taking place in the Chinese regional scene against other guys who are very untested, unproven. Look at his opponent's record. There's nothing really to be shown there. And then a split decision against old Gabriel Benitez, slow, sloppy Gabe Benitez 6 months ago, right? Mahashate was towering over the guy. Big guy for the weight. Something tells me that Jake Shields is going to have Nicholas Mota ready to go and impress here. I think if I'm looking at underdogs, this one stands out to me. So my official pick is going to be Nicholas Mota, but Mahashate has had flashes of brilliance, we can say, on the feet in terms of knockout power. Nicholas Mota has been finished and knocked out by less athletic, older, slower guys. So he could get tagged. I think it's Mahashate by knockout, or it's Nicholas Mota by either submission or decision. But I like the juice. I like the dog odds on Mota, and I'm gonna pick Mota officially on the show.
I'm going Mota as well for a lot of the same reasons, but I think he can get it done on the feet as well. I think that he's got some pretty decent striking, and I think he'll be able to get the better of Mahashate. It's so weird that when you leave, you're still there.
Yes.
Mahashate.
House of many faces.
Yes, I believe Mota will get the better of Mahashate everywhere. I'm going with Mota.
Yeah, I'm going to triple P certify the dog, the first fight of the night. I'm going to go with Mota. I like his hands. I think he's got some pretty good hand speed. He's got some pretty incredible knockouts to his name. And Mahashate, however you say it, he seems pretty hittable in his fights. Even the ones that he's winning, he's taking a good amount of damage. So I like the dog value as well. Let's triple P certify Nicholas Mota.
Lovely. Okay. Triple B certified Mota, and he will fall into that golden ratio betting range of better than minus 190. So we'll have to give him a look as far as a bet to make. Okay. Next, we got Long Zhao, 26-9 versus Quang Li, 8-1. If you go off Tapology pictures alone, which a lot of people are, you're going to want to side with Long Zhao, and you're going to wonder why he's only a minus 120 favorite against a 9-1 opponent. It'd be one thing if, Long Zhao had faced, better competition. I guess he kind of has, right? He fought in the LFA as opposed to having a lot of his fights take place on the road to UFC Chinese regional scene. But Long Zhao, split decision loss 4 months ago to Chang Ho Lee, who was 9-1, so 8-1 at the time. So there's that. These guys stack up evenly in the reach department. Zhao is going to be 2 inches taller. He's going to be. This is a 135-pound fight, guys, and it's a 26-year-old versus a 33-year-old. 33 is pretty close to 35, and this is a lot lower than 170. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm pretty confidently going to go with Long Zhao. He's got 35 fights to this guy's 9. He's 7 years younger. Fighters that are 6 years younger win at a rate of like 65%. He's taller. He's great odds. What am I missing here? Chinese versus Vietnam. I mean, there have been UFC champions from China. There's never been a UFC champion from Vietnam. I think a Vietnamese fighter doesn't even come to mind. I wouldn't even know one to name, right? So I don't know. He is fighting out of Minnesota now, so he's getting at least some American pedigree training going, Quang Lee. But I'm gonna go with Zhao, and I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't know what else to say.
I'm going to back you on this. I'm also going to go with Long Zhao. I like everything that we're saying about the age, especially at this weight class. I think he has better competition that he's surrounded by. Not only in his career, he's got more experience as the younger guy, but just like who he's training with, I doubt he got very good training partners in Vietnam, and I don't even know of any gyms in Minnesota unless you could inform me. So I'm going to go. I like your thought process here. I'm glad you went first. And yeah, this all looks good to me. Give me Long Zhao. What's the odds?
-120 Zhao, +100 for Lee.
Are we going to clean up on this card or what? This is awesome. -120.
0-1 on the Contender Series is Lee. 0-1 in One Fighting Championship is Lee, and 0-1 in the UFC is Lee so far. So he's not gotten a win in a major promotion at all. You wonder what he's doing here. But hey, no, I'm sorry. That was Zhao. Zhao is 0-1 in all of those. 7-0 is Lee in the LFA, Legacy Fighting Alliance, and 0-1 in the UFC. So, he's fought guys like, he has an amateur record, right? His amateur record is 3-2. He's gotten subbed before. He fought an 0-0 guy. He fought an 0-0 guy. He fought a 4-10 guy. He fought a 2-1 guy, and he fought a 4-3 guy. He fought a 4-3 guy when he was 4-0. He fought a 6-3 guy. His last time he fought a guy who's had as many fights as Zhao was Chris Gutierrez. He lost the decision to him in his only UFC fight, and Gutierrez is 20-5. So
Chris Gutierrez is amazing.
All respect to Chris Gutierrez, but
I'm going with Lee. I think you guys are off base. I think that Minnesota is far better than anywhere in China.
He's flying from Minnesota to China to fight at 4 a.m. So
I think that'll make him more primed, more ready to go.
All right. Next we got Loner Kavanaugh versus the Peruvian Jose Ochota. Jose is 7-0. He's also got some LFA experience. He's 23, right? 5'7". He's going to be 3 inches taller than Lonnie Kavanaugh, who is fighting out of England, but has his mother is Chinese. So he's got some Chinese descent. He's coming off a knockout win against Antoine Ho. You'll remember Antoine Ho from the Contender Series 3 months ago. He knocked him out. He's a Cage Warriors guy. So you got the 7-0 guy with a lot better strength of schedule, a lot better opponents. He's beaten every one of his last 5 fights. He's fought somebody who was undefeated, and he's beaten 5 undefeated guys in a row at 7-0. And meanwhile, like I said, Ochota has fought a 1-0 guy, a 2-3 guy, 2-3 guy, a 4-4 guy, and a 5-0 guy. So I don't see him submitting. I don't see him submitting Kavanaugh. I don't see him knocking Kavanaugh out. I see Kavanaugh getting this fight to the ground and dominating. -395 favorite. But I think he's going to be the bigger powerhouse in there. He's going to utilize that power. He's going to utilize the grappling. He's going to remain undefeated and get the win here.
Lukey coming in with the background information on the moms. Someone did their homework, ready to go on the card. I'm going to go with Brett Kavanaugh as well. I like And I'm on a Tapology picture type deal here. I mean, you look at Kavanaugh versus Ocho. It's like, this is medical malpractice. What we got going on here? So I like all of your facts and figures and your biology, and I'm also going to go with my Tapology picture method and go with the -330 favorite Kavanaugh.
Loner for me as well. Triple P certified loner. The second, did we all go Mata?
Yes, we all did go Mata.
Yeah.
Second Triple P certified pick of the evening. Loner Kavanaugh. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a highlight of his making its way on the interwebs that Sugar Sean and Mally commented on. Probably one of the sickest combinations you'll see out of a guy that is this stout and this, has the Michael Chandler traps to the ears situation going on. Very slick boxing. I think he gets this one done. I think he gets it done impressively. I'm willing to pay the price tag. I think he's like a -350 favorite. I think he gets this one done easily.
Triple B certified Loney Kavanaugh. And the next fight, this one's even more interesting, right? So Carlos Hernandez coming off back-to-back losses. He lost to Ray Tatsuya 4 months ago, and he got knocked out by Tatsuya Taira, the submission guy, 11 months ago. He's also been submitted by Alan Nascimento, and he took Dennis Bonder to a technical decision, as well as Victor Altamirano, a split decision. Those are his last
never
five.
beaten an Asian man. Every time he's faced them, he's lost.
Yeah, and here's the more interesting thing. He's a giant favorite. He is, I think, his most impressive win is going to be Daniel Barres, Victor Altamirano, but both of those are split decisions, right? He fights very close in the margins here, and he's going to be taking on a Mongolian in China, flying all the way from Illinois. And Hernandez, he's going to lose 4 inches of reach here. He's 5 years younger at 125, 31 years old for 125. I think the weight cut's going to be bad. I think he misses weight, possibly, or just has a terrible weight cut. I don't think he'll miss weight, but I think he'll have a bad weight cut. Taking on an undefeated guy who's got a lot of finishes, and from all reports I hear, swings fucking hammers in there, swings for the fences and goes for big heights. Here's what stands out to me. Tapology has 84% are picking Turmendembaro, right? Namyarjul Turmendembaro. It's a mouthful, guys. It's a mouthful, but 84% of Tapology is picking him, and he's a +165 underdog. Something's up. Something's up here. I think people don't know him. They can't pronounce his name, and they know Hernandez, and they can pronounce his name, and they've seen him fight, and they've seen him fight 5 times in the UFC now. And that's what I think is moving this line. You're not catching me betting Hernandez as a -200 favorite. You're not catching me putting an 8-0 untested Turmendembaro on every single parlay, but I'll take a stab at him. I'll take a stab at him for sure. His nickname's Art of Knockout.
Funny you say that, Lukey. A majority of his wins come from submission.
Well, he's only got 7 fights, so. But yeah, apparently he swings. So that tells me, hey, well-rounded, right?
Well-rounded, exactly.
Guy who's got knocked out and submitted a couple times recently. So give me the Mongolian, man. Give me the Mongolian, the underdog, and I might just take a solo shot at him too.
Yeah, I love it. I didn't even know he was a dog. I just went with this merely off of the size and knowing how bad Carlos Hernandez is. I know we always say don't fade a bad fighter with a worse fighter, but I don't know too much about this guy, so I don't know how bad he is yet. But I do know that, as I was telling Luke, his name is the Art of the Knockout, but he's got 5 submissions out of those 7 wins or 8 wins. So I'm excited to see him mix it up in there. I'm going with Turmendembaro. Turmendembaro?
I'm going to fade a bad fighter with a worse fighter. Carlos Hernandez going to get it done. And he's not even that bad, all right? Because he has extremely quality losses. Alan Nascimento, Taira. I mean, the UFC's been feeding this guy wolves. So I think they're giving him a nice little, maybe not a, not a gift. He does have to, make the flight and all that. And guy's undefeated. I'm sure he's pretty good. But, Carlos Hernandez is tough to finish. Everybody's tough to finish, really, at 125. But I think especially so, Carlos Hernandez, very defensively sound. So I think once this new guy, who's all full of piss and vinegar in his neighboring country, doesn't get it done in the first round, Hernandez, with that cardio, with that toughness, with the experience, is going to get it done. Am I crazy about it? No, I don't think Hernandez is the best fighter in the world. So, having it minus 192 as what I see in my end, not loving it, but I think it's a good matchup for him.
I'm going to really take a good look at the weigh-ins with this one. But what I'll say is this. One redeeming factor about Carlos Hernandez, he's training out of Illinois, and I think he's in that gym. I know he's in the gym with Iggy Bahamundes. I know he's in the gym with Yair Rodriguez. Is he in the gym with Bilal Muhammad as well? The champ, right? I know that Bilal and Iggy Bahamundes were training together, right? If this kid's training and getting some time in with the guys who are getting those guys right, they've looked certainly very impressive lately, and it could pay dividends. So maybe that's what I'm missing here. Maybe that's the one piece of information that I'm missing.
Or he's Shane Young, and it doesn't matter.
Right. All right. Next, we got Zhao Can Fang versus Ming Shi. Ladies fight at 115. This is a just keep it simple, stupid fight for me. I'm going with the favorite. I know nothing about either of these two girls, but I'm not gonna. One's 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. The other one's 5'2" with a 60-inch reach. 6 inches of reach, 5 inches of height. Give me Fang. That's it. Keep it simple.
I'm taking Fang as well.
Triple P for certified Fang. Let's keep it at that.
All right.
Next, we got Kiru Sahota versus Donghong Choi. Donghong Choi 8-0, Kiru Sahota 12-2. Choi is going to be minus 155, slight favorite out of South Korea. Kiru Sahota fights out of England. 25-year-old Choi versus 29-year-old Sahota. Sahota's going to be 5 inches taller with almost a foot of reach on Choi. Manchester top team product. He's fought in Cage Warriors. He's also fought in the road to UFC. He hasn't really impressed with, just some decision wins on the road to UFC, but he's gotten some knockout wins and other promotions. Like I said, he lost in Cage Warriors by knockout to a guy who's 4-0. Really not a ton of experience or notable competition between either of them. Very closely lined fight. It's the height and reach are what's getting me about Sahota. But when you look at Choi's ways that he wins, it's decision, 5 wins, knockout, 3 wins. He's fought for some titles in the promotions he's fought in. So, Sahota, tough one to call. Don't really know enough about either guy to bet this one heavy in any sense of the word. But I'll go with the favorite Choi. Even as I said, I don't feel great about it seeing the height and reach measurables. Kid's got a lot of this kid has a lot of amateur bouts and a lot of pro bouts, a lot more experience than Choi, but he hasn't done much with the experience, right? He's dropped some fights here. I don't know. I could see this going either way. What do you guys think? Manchester top team, it's a good gym, right? I mean, they got Lerone Murphy over there. They got that kind of makes me want to go with this guy, especially he's a slight dog here too.
I'm going Sahota myself for all the reasons you said. Very long guy, coming out of a better team, better camp, more experience, a little bit older, but I feel like the range is going to really help him in this one. And he's fought at a higher level.
I like all that. I like riding the Manchester train. They've been, on a roll a little bit here. A lot of good fighters coming out of there. The experience, one Cage Warriors fight that he loses, he gets knocked out. All right. But I don't know. He's got a lot of experience previous to that. And he's got the intangibles as far as longer reach and bigger guy. So I'll go with that.
One's the number 6 flyweight out of Japan, Choi. One's the number 6 flyweight out of the UK and Ireland. I kind of think, who do you think's got more flyweights, Japan or the UK? I feel like Japan, right? So, possibly a deeper talent pool for Choi. I'm going to stick with Choi and prevent the Trilby certification, but I want to get a look at these guys. I want to get a look at the weigh-ins. I want to get another look at them, but I will go with Choi.
All right. Next up is the last road to the UFC finale tournament championship matchup of the card. Su Young Yu versus Baldwin Gensely.
Su Young me, Su Young you.
That's good. I like that one. I like that a lot. I'm gonna go with you on this one. Gonna just trust the line. I think he's a little younger. I'm not sure. As Luke said, don't know too much. Don't know too much about any of these guys. I'll be the first to tell you.
He's 3 weeks younger. He's gonna have a 3-inch height disadvantage and a 5-inch reach disadvantage. Su Young Yu, he trains a particular brand of jiu-jitsu called Jiu-Jitsu. It's I think his own little style, his own little gym there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know much about this guy. I'm not going to go too heavy on it. I'm going to trust the public.
I'm going to follow you with that as well. It seems like Balogun, his path to victory has been the submission, 9 wins by submission. This guy he's fighting seems pretty competent with the grappling himself. So I think
but does he know jiu-jitsu?
And he's South Korean, so he's got military training and experience in one way or another, right? So the only times he's lost are by decision. He got ground and pounded by Dastan, by a Kazakhstani kid, right? I mean, a 7-1 Kazakhstani. We know how good the Kazakhstanis are rushing through the fight game right now. So I will go with the favorite. I will go with you, Su Young Yu.
I just signed a nice little NIL style deal with Su Young Yu. They just signed me. And I'm signing them. I'm putting them on my roster. I'm going to make some money off of them. So, a lot of people say I quit jiu-jitsu. What I say is I'm looking for jiu-jitsu. I don't see it out there, but that's what I'm looking for, all right? That's why I tabled jiu-jitsu. Not my thing.
Okay. Next, we got a 205-pound matchup. King's MMA product, Ozzy Diaz. You'll remember him. He got knocked out by Joe Pyfer on the Contender Series, but does a lot of knocking out of his own. In between that loss, he's got 4 knockout wins that are sandwiching that knockout loss to Joe Pyfer, who's obviously everybody's darling. King's MMA, you like that. 6'4", you like that. 72.5-inch reach to 75, not too much of the loss there. Zhang, Mengying Zhang, you'll remember him. He knocked out Brenton Hiberio, who I really thought was going to beat him, but Brenton Hiberio in his last fight, although he did win, didn't impress, right? Against who was the guy? The guy who looked like Jim Carrey and fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, Caio Machado. So this is an interesting one. It's screaming Ozzy Diaz. It's screaming, hey, this kid had his chance on the Contender Series, got knocked out by Joe Pyfer, trains at King's MMA, is a knockout guy himself, is going to be fighting a guy who wants to keep it on the feet and throw gloves as well. He fought Dominic Reyes when he was 4-1, and Dominic Reyes was 3-0. He lost in the first round by submission. He's fought Joe Pyfer. Meanwhile, Zhang has only fought Hiberio in the UFC, and before that, was just competing on the regional level in the road to UFC and whatnot. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Ozzy Diaz here. He's an underdog, a big one, and something tells me this line is too wide.
Maybe so, but I like Zhang. In his one UFC fight, his one performance, I came away a big fan. This guy's a tank who just moves forward. I've been looking for him. I was like, where was that big fucking Chinese guy that just fucking moves forward and throws bombs and takes huge hits? I want to see that guy fight again. Here he is. I'm super excited. I'm taking him. And how much am I going to use him for my parlays? I'm going to try to be smart this week, okay? I'm trying to not be losing hand over fist money. So maybe I won't take the huge favorite that, like I said, takes a lot of hits as well. But I'm excited to watch him, and I'm a big fan. So let's go Zhang.
Luke, who did you take?
I took Ozzy Diaz.
I don't give a Zhang who you took. I'm going with Zhang as well, Danny. Sorry, Luke.
Walked right into that.
You can roll with Ozzy all you want, but I don't give a Zhang. Zhang it is. Zhang all the way. Look at how big and Giga Chad he looks. He's got the Giga Chad jaw. He looks amazing. I can't wait for this one.
All right, next we got Carlos Ulberg versus Volkan No Time Ozdemir. Now, this fight is interesting because for some reason I have it in my head, right? I have it in my head that Carlos Ulberg is this disappointing guy who just doesn't live up to the hype. And I think, why do I think that? And it has to be his only loss against Kennedy and Chukwi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he got knocked out in 2021. That feels, for how I perceive Black Jag, you would think that fight happened yesterday. Because since then, beat Fabio Charant, the Water Buffalo, knocked out Tafon and Chukwi, that brick shithouse, knocked out Nicholas Negamiriano, knocked out Ihor Pateria, choked out Dawoon Jun, knocked out Alonzo Menafield in 12 seconds in his last fight. So it's like, why am I so low on this guy, right? Like, I don't know. He's got one loss. He's got 6 UFC wins. He's 6-1 in the UFC with 7 knockouts. I gotta go with Black Jag here. I think that's
7 knockouts.
I think you're gonna be super. You're gonna be told by the rest of the gambling public. You're gonna be told, Ozdemir, man. There was a point in time where he was racing to the title. There was a point in time, he had a decision against Ankalaev. He had a decision against Krylov. He beat Paul Craig, who just put up such a good fight with Bo Nickal. He beat Bogdan Guskov. He beat Johnny Walker 4 months ago. He knocked Johnny Walker out 4 months ago. He's 35, sure, but Black Jag's 34, right? So you're going to have a lot of people telling you that there's value on Ozdemir this week. And I agree, but I think it's not the right answer. It's not the right pick. I think that Ulberg can figure Ozdemir out and get the win with his measurables, with the little bit of height, a little bit of reach, being a kickboxer, and just having a thicker jaw, thicker head, thicker neck. I think he's able to be more evasive, slip his punches, drop a couple in there, and finish No Time, if not win a pretty convincing decision. But I got to forgive and forget that loss to Chukwi, and I got to go with Black Jag here.
I was thinking the same exact thing. I think we're too hard on Ulberg. And I think it's just because the fashion in which it happened, where he was absolutely styling on Kennedy and Chukwi, gassed himself out, and then got finished, And I'm forgiving him. He's definitely got to keep his head on a swivel. He's got to be smart in there. I think he's learned that lesson. He's looked a lot more calculated in the octagon. And the really concerning part about this is how close these guys are in age. You would think Ozdemir is like 10 years older, when in reality these guys are 1 year apart. Ulberg had a whole life before MMA, I guess. Was he kickboxing with all the other city kickboxing fellas? I'd imagine. I'm going with Ulberg. I think he's just going to be a little too crafty in there.
Ulberg has been on a tear since losing to Njoku. Ever since, I think that, what was that, his first, maybe second fight in the UFC. So I think there was just a little bit of a shock value surprise. Yeah, Njoku's a big dude. I don't know. He was the kickboxer before, so different sport, learning as he goes. But I think he's really picked it up, and he'll be too slick, too elusive for Ozdemir, who's way too plotting. Sure, maybe he could clip him, but of course, everybody's got a puncher's chance. So what does that even mean? We'll take Ulberg, God bless you, and Triple P certify him. Get this thing going.
All right, this next fight, Gabriela Fernandez, dog or pass situation, plus 470 underdog. Gabby Fernandez, minus 650. Kong Wang, the Joker. Now listen, I think Kong Wang is going to win. There's just no way for me to really bet this. You could take her by knockout, I guess, but it's a ladies 125-pound fight, and
I think that over under is going to be 1.5 though. After
that
knockout in the last fight,
that might be a spot. I mean, Kong Wang, she's 6-0. She's got a ton of amateur experience and a ton of kickboxing experience. She's got a kickboxing victory over Valentina Shevchenko. So you take Kong Wang. You don't try to make a case in this situation for Gabby Fernandez. It's not going to happen. She's not going to beat her. But you just got to find your spot. Is it over 1.5? Is it
that was kickboxing fight in China, Chinese corruption.
Yeah.
That is my Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina Shevchenko, except instead of Alexa Grasso, Mexican corruption, it's Chinese corruption for the kickboxing match.
Okay.
That's what she said about Alexa Grasso for the first fight. She said, it happened for Mexican Independence Day.
That was a Valentina Shevchenko Kazakhstaniak or whatever she's from. That was okay. Just glad you clarified that.
Yeah.
So Kong Wang all around. I mean,
Kong Wang all around tonight.
Everybody Kong Wang tonight. Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what the over-under is going to be. I might go the over. And I'm hoping it's a 1.5 since she had that devastating knockout in her last bout.
Yep. I mean, Gabby Fernandez has gone to decision a good amount. She's 9-3. She's got experience. She's Brazilian. She got, some probably, it just depends, right? It just depends. All right. Kinong Song versus Muslim Salikov. What do you guys think about this one? I've been talking a lot first here.
I think I'm going to go with Muslim Salikov. I think he's just a little too slick for Kenan Song. We all love Kenan Song because he dropped Ian Gary once and used that as a reason to bet on him, but he's not good. It just goes to show how bad Ian Gary is, I believe. Kenan Song stinks. Muslim Salikov is going to skate by, probably get a split decision win that even if he loses, he believes that it should have been a unanimous decision.
Well,
30-25.
I disagree. Dan, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I disagree as well. I don't think Song Kenan stinks. I actually think he's pretty damn good. Coming off a win against Ricky, my name's not Rick Glenn. And previous to that, he had some losses peppered in there, but he's going up against the best of the division. You got Kevin Jousset, super prospect. Ian Machado Gary, super prospect. And, like you said, he got a good lick in on him. And he's like 10 times as elusive as Muslim Salikov, who moves like a corpse out there. Even go down the list of the losses. Huh? Yeah.
He's the king of Kung Fu. He moves like water, my friend.
Alex Morono, Max Griffin, these are quality losses and some UFC wins in there as well. Not a lot of guys that your average fan would recognize at this point, but I like the skills here. He's on home turf. I think it's a setup for him. It's a setup win, and we're going to get plus money on him. So, I mean, it's definitely dog or pass, Alex. You're betting on an old man.
I'm going with Kenan Song as well. He looked really good really recently in his last performance against Ricky Glenn. That was the night Dricus du Plessis beat Israel Adesanya. That was 3 months ago. And I'm going with Kenan Song as well. He's 6 years younger at 170, under 35 at 170. Muslim Salikov, a 40-year-old 170-pounder. He's going to be shorter, have less reach, and he got knocked out by Randy Brown. He got knocked out by Li Jingliang. I think that Muslim Salikov is going to lose here. I think Kenan Song is going to win, and he's an underdog at plus 140, sometimes even higher in some books. So I said dogs are going to be barking. This is one of a few dogs that I'm going to be taking in Kenan Song. All right.
Switch me officially to Kenan Song.
Oh,
very cool. Trophy certified Kenan Song. Let me see
very cool.
that song.
Kenan Song.
Very cool. So next we got Zhao Nanyan versus Tabitha Ricci. Zhao Nanyan coming off of getting beat 3 times in a row by Weili Zhang. Choked out, knocked out, beat by decision. She got beaten every way you could lose to Weili Zhang. Fought hard, but she is a 35-year-old 115-pounder. She is 5'5". But her reach is only 2 inches longer than the 5'1" Tabitha Ricci. This is a screaming matchup to me, and everything is screaming my baby, the baby shark, Tabitha Ricci, the underdog, plus 170. If everything goes awry with my parlays, I will be betting everything on Tabitha Ricci to get it done here. If one underdog wins on this night, it will be Tabitha Ricci. Tabitha Ricci is going to smoke Yan 9 Janan.
I don't want to go. I'm kind
I
of
think I can go with 9. 9 Zhao Nanan. She's way more well-rounded than Tabitha Ricci. Tabitha Ricci kind of sucks. Tabitha Ricci kind of got fraud checked against who? Was it like Jessica Panay or some shit? No, Lupe Godinez. Dude, Lupe Godinez stinks. 9's way better. 9's gonna win this one. 9's gonna walk all over. 9.
I'm not loving it. Lukey kind of.
I'm seeing real quick. I'm seeing on DraftKings Kong Wang over 2.5 minus 175, under 2.5 plus 135.
Interesting.
Very. If you want to move that minus 900 down and take her at minus 3.5, meaning she's going to win all the rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that means she has to win 110.8.
Who?
Kong Wang minus 3.5 points.
Yeah, that's a 10-8 in there.
That's crazy. She's minus 255 to win. I mean, they don't just go out handing out 10-8s. Like, she could win a round dominantly, and they could just be like 10-9. That's a trap. That is.
Wait, is that how that works?
No, I guess not. I think I'm wrong. Minus 3.5 points would mean that if she won 30-27 and you subtract 3.5, she loses. Your bet loses. Yeah. So
that's terrible.
That's
a terrible bet.
But I guess but if she finishes, you win too. So
yeah,
it's saying basically if she almost finished, it's basically saying you're betting on her to get a finish at juice odds, but if she wins a decision where the ref doesn't stop it in one of the rounds and they give her a 10-8, you still win. You're only buying insurance against a ref not stopping it and them giving her a 10-8. That's what you're buying ref not stopping the fight insurance, which I don't like in this scenario.
Wait, no. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's all the judges' scores combined.
Yeah. You're right.
So she has to win more than one round on more than one judge's scorecard. She has to win 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard and 1 round on the other 2. It doesn't make sense.
Nobody can do that math.
Like,
I have like family members who come to me and are like, I don't understand spreads. This basketball team is going to win by 9.5. What is minus 9.5? What does that mean? Like, they don't even get that. And you want to confuse them with 3 different judges and 3 different rounds, adding all that together. That's crazy. Yeah.
I feel like that can't be right either.
I think you are right, though. Because I do remember it being like, yeah, it's all so that would be 30-30-30 would be, right? That 30-30-30 would be 90.
You win by 9, Joe 9.
27-27-27 would be 91.
No,
So,
81.
No. 7 times 3 is 21. 20 times, 81. So that's a 9-point difference, and they're giving she needs to win by 4 points, which means that you have 5 points to spare, which means that across 3 rounds and 3 judges, you could, let's pretend it's 6. It's not, but let's pretend it's 6. That means 2 points, 2 points.
But 3.5, you could win by a split decision.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is that? What is that? How does that help them at all?
Right. Yeah. Don't know.
Wait, could you though?
Guys, help us help us in the comment section, please. Just tell us. And you can
wait. No. A split decision would mean that they won 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard. You won 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard.
I gotta write this out. Keep talking. Talk about the main event.
Never mind. Let's just get into it. We can't sit here talking spreads all day. We've already lost enough viewership with implied odds.
Spread them. All right, we're
All right,
doing main
we've done the
event.
Oh, okay. Jan versus Figgy. It's funny. Jan versus Richie, Jan versus Figgy, right in a row. I think that Figgy Chulo has this one. I think he's gonna get this one done. I'm not too confident in it. I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with Figgy. I think that this weight class fits him a little better. I think Jan's the picture perfect guy for him to fight. Jan's a pretty small guy for the weight class as well. I think Figgy gets it done. I think Figgy works his way up to a title shot and loses.
No, I think this is a good matchup.
Alex, you were right.
Yeah,
Because
figured it out.
if Kong Wang wins 29-28, 29-28, and 29-28 on all three judges' scorecards, meaning she loses a round, that would mean the score is 87-84, which would mean your bet loses because you have -3.5. So that 0.5, that's where that would come in. So
she only needs to win 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard.
So as long as one judge has the fight 30-27 and the other two have it 29-28, you're good. But if every judge says that Gabby won 1 round, your bet loses. That's the situation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be 90-81, or it would be if she wins, one. It would be 90-81, or it would be 87-84 if she loses 1 round. She loses 2 rounds, it would be 86-85.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where when you see plus or -1.5, they're saying we're going to give this girl. Well, she loses 2 rounds, she loses the fight.
Yeah. But she can lose 2 rounds on one judge's scorecard if she won unanimous decisions on the other 2. Or not unanimous, 30-27s on the other 2. Right?
Yeah, hey, it's funny to say, when would that happen where 2 judges think she wins every round and the other judge thinks
it happens all the fucking time.
All the fucking time. So maybe not all the time, but it certainly has happened.
Happens a ton. It happens a fuck ton. It happens regularly where one guy will give it to Ian Machado Gary 29-20 or 29-28, and then the other
one guy gives it to
No, and then the other guy will be like Michael Venom Page 29-28, and then the Chris Lee comes to the equation. He's like Ian Gary 30-27. Sorry.
Or the Patty the Batty fight. What's his name? John McCarthy's son had every round for Patty the Batty, I think.
John McCarthy has a son?
And he judges.
That's terrible.
And he judged Patty the Batty 30-27 in the Jared Gooden fight, if I'm not mistaken.
That's terrible. And I bet he went on the what is his podcast with
he did not defend his son. He said, I disagree with that.
He didn't.
Yeah, I know the whole lore of this.
Cops are bad dads. Cops are bad dads.
I do feel bad. Like, this is how much I love Chael Sonnen. I do feel bad about showing those images. But he showed those images. ESPN showed those images. I didn't do anything, really, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Should I feel bad? And I didn't say, I said it could be, I hope it is sunflower seeds. I hope it is those grind coffee pouches, Alex. I hope it is. I'm just saying, I went to a very redneck high school, and I've seen a lot of chewing tobacco in my day.
I will say it was a bad influence for me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I wish I had a nicotine pouch in my lip right now. That's what I thought when I saw it.
You went to the store and you relapsed.
No, I didn't. Dude, do you think
why you keep shutting your camera off every few minutes? Petting your cat or what?
I went to piss and I went and grabbed a drink.
Okay. Good. Very good. Okay, well, do you guys get your smelling salts yet?
No.
I don't know.
What the heck?
I haven't checked my mail. I really don't check.
All right, main event time.
I get too much mail that I don't want to check it. Like they
You know-
send me
you know-
bills and stuff like that, and if I don't
it's
open
gonna
it,
overflow, and then they'll stop doing it, and then they're gonna put a letter in there on your mailbox that says "fucking empty this." You're just pissing off your mailman. You don't want to piss off the man who handles your mail. He sees
My
the birthday
mailman's
card.
always like, "I'm coming after you." He's like, "I'll find your room 817."
Yeah, he knows everything. Your mailman knows everything about you.
no, he
Your
doesn't.
name,
Otherwise,
your
he wouldn't
address.
give me other people's mail all the time. He's always giving me other people's mail. I'm like, I'm not this person. He can't peg me right now. He has no idea who I am.
Dude, I bet my old apartment has so much of my mail. I almost want to knock. Like, you guys got any mail for me?
You knock up wellness check.
All right, Peter Yan taking on Davidson Figueiredo. Peter Yan, much like Zhao Yan, got this fight because his last name's Yan. They're hoping main event they're going to fool some Chinese people into thinking Peter Yan's Chinese. Okay, and I think that the Russians used to be Chinese, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know. I heard something where like the folks, the Native Americans who came across the Bering Strait when it was a frozen land bridge landed here, and they had some Russian in them, Inuits, right? Inuits, and I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you guys know. Is Peter Yan Chinese? I would be interested to know that figure and fact. But we'll Figueiredo it out. Davidson Figueiredo has looked really good at this weight class, and in every one of Peter Yan's fights in the UFC, he has been a pretty big favorite. Minus 340 is normal range for Peter Yan. He's been high. You look at his betting odds history. He has been a pretty consistently priced favorite in all of his fights, but he has not always performed that way, right? Lost a split decision to Aljamain Sterling. Got disqualified.
He's one of these close fighting Russians. He loves fighting people super close.
But he always does a really great job, right? Like he looks really great in a lot of these situations. And I think that health has been a concern for him here and there. I think that in that Algier fight, that split decision loss for the title, I think that was a close situation. I think the Sean O'Malley fight, a lot of people think he won that fight. The Merab Dvalishvili fight, he was definitely, I think, hurt in that fight. And Merab didn't dominate him, right? I mean, he's only lost to champs, really, over the Peter Yan lost to Aljo, champ, Sugar Sean, champ, Merab, champ. He lost to, that's it. I mean, and Magomedov by split decision, and he got knocked out as an amateur. But every one of his losses, besides the Merab fight, have been split decisions.
Isn't it crazy that BKFC literally has OnlyFans models who have more knockdowns this year than Merab and Bilal combined? Isn't that insane?
Wow. It's
really something to think about.
I wonder if there's any pillow fighting champions that have more knockdowns.
if there's somebody who has one, like neither of these guys have a knockdown in the year 2024.
Did you guys see that power slap where the guy's eye like went away?
Ew.
Did you see the one that we're talking about? It's all
I
viral.
think it's fake. Luke, I think you got caught by AI, bro.
Maybe maybe it was in Chael's mouth. Maybe that was AI. If Chael doesn't say that it was coffee or whatever, or the coffee pouches, if he doesn't say that, he'll say it was AI, I think. All right. Davidson Figueiredo, I mean, his last loss was to Brandon Moreno. They stopped it for an eye injury. That was a year and 9 months ago. He beat Rob Font. He beat Cody Garbrandt. He beat Cheeto Vera. And he has looked fucking good, man. He's 36 years old, fighting at 135-pound weight class. You would say that he has the Super Bowl hangover, right? Like, he fought so many times against Brandon Moreno for the title. Brandon Moreno just went out there and beat the fuck out of Amir Albazi for 5 rounds. I mean, this is a really interesting fight. I'm really excited to watch this fight. I think it's going to be super competitive. I'd like to get all my money made before this fight even takes place and not fucking bet on it at all and just watch it from a fan perspective so I can just appreciate the fight for what it is. I would love to see Peter Yan win. I would love to see Davidson Figueiredo win. I like both these guys. I think that the things to look out for are that while Davidson Figueiredo is coming up in weight, Peter Yan is not huge for the weight class, but he's Russian and he's hearty and he's strong. It always stands out in my mind when Khamzat Chimaev like came up and tried to wrestle him, and he just like spun around, got the underhooks on Khamzat, and like Khamzat's like, "You're ready, brother. You're ready." Like he was like looking good. Like I saw a video that Conor McGregor commented on of Peter Yan doing this workout on a track where he's like going under the things and he's putting high knees over the things. And McGregor was like, "This is great, simple but effective, good training, good technique." So
And you're playing touch butt in the park with that dork.
He's playing touch butt on the track. But I mean, listen, I think Peter Yan is I respect him. I think he's a great father, a stoic man, an amazing champion, a fun guy. I like that he gets a little bit feisty and pushes guys and shit on the stage at the face-offs. This is two not villains, but two anti-heroes. Like this is like Deadpool versus the Punisher.
Well, no, it's God of War.
Yeah,
he does the God of War thing. You know the
Kratos,
game God of War?
This is like the Punisher versus Kratos, or this is like it's not the Joker versus Lex Luthor. It's like two guys who like can come in on both, like
Ghost Rider.
It's like Ghost Rider versus the Punisher. You know what I mean? I think the Punisher is like going to stay as an example. I think that's a good
that is MCU. That is MCU though. Both of those two characters.
Yeah, it's like Magneto versus Professor Snape. It's like Boba Fett versus Yoda. I'm kidding. I couldn't think of another Star Wars example. Han Solo versus Boba Fett.
It's tough to find two begrudging heroes who are like, all right, here we go again.
It's Wolverine.
Yes, Wolverine. Yes.
Peter Yan is Wolverine for sure. He's Logan. And then it's Wolverine versus Deadpool. It's Wolverine versus Deadpool.
They might end up making out by the end.
If you want to watch the movie Wolverine x Deadpool, watch it, and then that'll give you more analysis on this fight than either of these guys' fights. Because, I mean, I like the streak Figueiredo is on. I like the streak Figueiredo is on. But here's what I see. I see
draw
Peter Yan smacking him with some really powerful shots. And I think if little boy Moreno could fucking hurt Davidson Figueiredo, Peter Yan is going to hurt Davidson Figueiredo. But I think if Aljamain Sterling can take down Peter Yan, and if Merab can cage control take down Peter Yan, maybe Figueiredo can too. So I think that it's going to be a close fight. Yan, I could see Yan, like, you know what I mean? Like losing a close split decision over 5 rounds by getting taken down in 2 and the first round being kind of no action, right? First round's kind of no action. They're feeling each other out. They give it to Figueiredo because he's hopping around and he's kicking the legs and shit. And Peter Yan doesn't land any power. Round 2, Yan knocks Figueiredo down. Round 3, Peter Yan's dotting him up and Davidson's wearing a little bit of damage. Round 4, round 5, Figueiredo gets a takedown. Round 5, Figueiredo is like just blood and guts, throwing elbows in close, trying to take him down, doing cage control, and they end up giving it to Figueiredo by decision, split decision. So I'm going to pick Davidson Figueiredo by split decision. That'll be my official pick. But I like I said, I want to make my money before this fight even starts. On Tabitha Hichi.
All right. So I guess we're Triple P certified.
Oh, you guys already broke it down? I didn't even hear what you guys said.
I did Peter Yan.
You're doing this stupid fucking Kong Wang Lee math. I was very studious within my mathematics over here. Adding 10 plus 9 and and 10 plus 10 plus 10. It was very difficult. 30 times 3. What the fuck? So, all right. So Trophy certified Davidson Figueiredo?
No. I'm sorry. I'm on Peter Yan. I thought you picked Yan.
No, I said Davidson Figueiredo by split decision.
I took Figueiredo.
I think if Yan wins, I think.
But I guess I gotta watch Wolverine versus Deadpool to get a little bit more background on what's gonna happen in this fight.
Figueiredo, bit of a wincer, as McGregor would say. So I think there's a chance that Yan could fucking knee him or catch him in the eye, and he's like, I can see he's figuring to like squirming away in retreat from a big shot by Peter Yan, you know?
Yeah.
But I could
But
also,
Jan's a bit of a confused guy. He always looks confused. I could see him in there very confused. Where one's like this and the other one's super. He's just lost, puzzled. He has no idea where he is.
listen, Jan, one kind of deficit he has over 5 rounds sometimes can be his cardio. And if he does hurt Figueiredo in the early rounds, he might think in his head he's up more than he is, and he might spend a lot of time having to chase. I could see him having to chase Figueiredo around around the cage a lot. I could see him having to like move forward the whole time, throw a shitload of volume, and just over a 5-round fight, there could be 2 rounds where Figueiredo wins, 1 close one, and 2 rounds where Jan clearly wins, with Figueiredo wearing more of the damage, but the judge is giving it to Figueiredo by split decision. That's just how I see it playing out. So I gotta go with that. And I hope to God I've made some money before the main event starts, because I will end up betting on Figueiredo and probably losing. So all right, let's run through our full picks top to bottom and get the fuck out of here.
All right, if you're rolling with me, you're going with Figueiredo. Yeah, 9 Jan Denan. Kanon Nanon Song. Wang. Olberg. Zhang. Yu. Sahota. Fang. Tumindemberel. Kavanaugh. Lee and Mata.
Okay. Want to go ahead, Dan?
Yeah. Wasn't sure if you were ready. I'm going with Nicholas Mata, Long Zhao, Lonair Kavanaugh, Carlos Hernandez. We got Shao Kahn Fang. We got Kiru Sahota. We are going to Su Young Yu, Ming Yang Zhang, Carlos Olberg, Kong Wang, Kanan Song, Xiaonan Yan, and Peter Yan.
You guys are leaving me on an island by myself with my most confident pick, Tabitha Ricci. This is amazing. All right, so for me, top to bottom, going with Davidson Figueiredo, going with Tabitha Ricci, Kenan Song, Kong Wang, Carlos Olberg, Ozzy Diaz, Young Yu, Choi, Fang, Two Men in the Barrel. You know they call it 2 men in the barrel? Illegal in many southern states as of 1950. We got Loner Kavanaugh, Long Zhao, and Nicholas Mota. She'll be certified picks. Nicholas Mota, Loner Kavanaugh, Fang, Yu, Olberg, Wang, Song Wang Yu Fang, Olberg, Loner Kavanaugh, and Nicholas Mata. Those are the Triple P certified picks for your ass. And of those ones that are like good betting odds, you got Song, you got, I think Yu falls within the range, and I think Mota falls within the range. So Mota, Yu, Song. All right, that'll be it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Sorry we were late. Hop in the Discord with us at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are awake. Dan, I know you'll be up at 3 a.m. Come on. I'm going to bed at 8:30 p.m. I'm going to get 6.5, 7 hours of good sleep. I'm going to pop out of bed at 3. I'll wait till 3:15. They're not going to start it right at 3. So I'll wait till like 3:50. I'll pop out at 3. I'll scrub off. And listen, if we get enough comments, if I get 10 comments that say, 10 individual people that say, I want to watch the fight with you this weekend. 10 people individually tell me in the comment section, that you will be here for a live broadcast. I will turn my laptop camera on. I will sit here with my laptop and I'll watch the fights live at 3 a.m. I'll have my bagel. I'll have a bagel and I'll have coffee, and we'll get freaky at the middle of the night. And I will say there's one thing that could happen on Friday night. There's one thing that could happen.
It's Friday, 3 a.m?
Well, it's Saturday at 3 a.m., but it's Friday, 3 a.m. Yeah. I believe so. I believe so. It's an early start, not a.
Are you sure it's not Sunday, 3 a.m?
Let's see. UFC.
That'd be a long day for football Sunday.
It would be. Let's see. It says Saturday, November 23rd at 3 a.m. So I mean, it would be Sunday.
Eastern Standard.
All times are in Eastern Standard. Yes.
Okay. Beautiful.
So I mean, So Friday after work, you come in from work on Friday, you get to bed early, or what I will do if there's a Friday night spontaneous live show of some sort that keeps me up from 10 p.m. until all the way through the evening, then and then I won't be here live. Then I'll probably won't be here live. Then I won't be sleeping. So that's my takeaway.
It's like, oh, that's your takeaway?
Thank you all for joining the show. We love you. And let me know if you are in for a watch party, a sleepover. We'll call it a triple P sleepover. Don't pee the bed. We're going to put hot water. You can put your hand in a bowl of hot water and there's flour on you. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.